Recorded live from the engine room in Broad Ripple, this is the Voices of Indy podcast hosted by Josh Gillespie. Voices of Indy is a show dedicated to giving you the opportunity to know the musical, visual, and theatrical arts of Indianapolis, Indiana. And I am thrilled beyond belief to have this week's guest. She's a nurse by day, a metal diva by night, Maciann. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Josh. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you are welcome. It is honestly a blast.
Thank you.
To have you on the show. I've been following your Instagram for a while now, and one, you totally know how to light up the socials.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that warms my soul.
It's not easy, is it?
No, it's not. It's not.
And it's a young person's game, and
it really is.
And boy, you really nail it out of the ballpark.
Thank you. I'm just now still figuring out how to use an iPhone, so thank you.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, that's too funny. No, it's you. You have great socials.
Thank you.
So follow Maciann on at very least Instagram.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. But it's so much fun to see the energy that you have and the joy that you find in your music.
Thank you.
And that is a lot of fun.
Thank you. Coffee kicks in hard sometimes.
Yeah.
God.
No, I understand that. I love a good cup of coffee in the morning.
I swear.
And it totally isn't enough, if I'm being completely honest.
No, it's not. You don't even want to know how much coffee I drink.
Well, I might be right up there with you.
Being a nurse too, man. I don't know.
Well, okay, maybe not. Now, so first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay.
And for those who may not know you, now you have a pretty good following on the gram. But what if you were giving like a 30-second elevator pitch?
Okay.
Who is Maciann?
Well, Maciann is, just a spunky, musician by night, and when I'm not on stage screaming at my fans, I'm actually a nurse, and that's something that I'm really proud of, especially with what the world has gone through in the past couple years. It's that's something that if I could make it black and white, nurse, musician, girlfriend, and just an overall just trying to be a light being.
Yeah, no, tell me about it. I mean, you are, again, you radiate through your socials.
Thank you.
So I would say that yes, you are a light. I have to completely deviate here really quick. What was it like being a nurse during the pandemic, if I may ask?
Oh.
This is completely off the
Yeah.
rails, but I mean, it occurred to me that you had to endure that.
Yeah.
And you were truly like one of our frontline workers. So thank you for your service.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No, you're welcome.
Yeah.
But as that was kind of an inspirational time for many a musician.
Yes, it was.
What was it like for you as a nurse and as a musician?
Wow. Well, you mean like a lot of new musicians that went through, the pandemic, it was really hard. It was not only hard to perform and, to entertain people, but it was really hard to stay motivated.
Mm-hmm.
When you were told a constant no, you can't play or getting canceled, it was hard to, get up and push through, and stay motivated and stay inspired as a musician.
Mm-hmm.
But on the flip side of it, being a nurse, it was scary. It was,
Yeah.
and it was really hard seeing like your friends and your family, like, asking you these questions and you couldn't give an answer. You didn't know what to expect, especially in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And, going to work every day and, seeing your friends get sick, seeing your coworkers get sick, and, just trying to figure out and treat, patients that, this is a whole new disease. Like we were just not familiar with it. It was scary, and then, trying to stay motivated with music at the same time and just being, an encouragement to people. It was hard. That actually, really inspired the new track that we're releasing on September the 15th. And it's called Grow Up or Get Out. And, it's just about pushing through and battling yourself, because we are our biggest obstacle, especially during those times when we don't want to get up and we don't want to, even pour that first cup of coffee and, we want to hit the snooze, we don't want to feed into our creative and we're not feeling inspired, but we're feeling like we got to push through it. And, we put so much pressure on ourselves as musicians and, not just musicians, but like creatives or just even anyone that works at, a JOB. It doesn't matter what you do. That was a hard time. We wrote this song called Grow Up or Get Out where where sometimes you just got to laugh at yourself and be like, stop putting so much pressure on yourself and just do it. Don't think too much about it. Just do it, because we're created, for those moments where, we just like have this light and, we push ourselves to be the best version of ourselves so that we can inspire other people to be the best version of themselves. And so that this new song, Grow Up or Get Out, it's about, just pushing through those hard times and, take yourself a little less seriously and just have fun with life because you only got one. So, being a nurse and being a musician during that time, it was hard, but man, did I grow, for real.
No, exactly. Now, what was it like? I mean, okay, so I have to imagine like life at work was just beyond insane. And I can't even imagine the hours that you had to be working during that time. Did you find yourself just being able to relax with music? I mean, and I say that kind of in jest because, I mean, it's metal music. Some people relax with metal. So,
yes. It was an outlet.
Yeah.
It was an outlet of just like releasing that frustration. That, that pent up, just like, energy, it's just, I just was so thankful that I had that, especially with my friends. And as hard as it was to come together and to, even just with yourself, just I grew so much as a musician during that time. And I know a lot of friends that did too. Just really just sitting and being with yourself and thinking about the whys and, getting inspired.
So what has formed Maciann the musician? What were the seeds?
Ooh, the seeds
that burst forth that made you into the musician that you are today.
Well, I will say that my friends and my family have been such an inspiration. I grew up in a musical family. My mom, especially has been such an inspiration to me. But I will say that, my dad being the classic rock buff that he is, I grew up on that Van Halen and that Metallica and that Megadeth and, but we also have the flip side, like I love me some Beyonce and Christina Aguilera, I was, pushed into piano lessons for a long time, but then my piano teacher, she showed me a guitar and from there, just, I want to rock, like, oh man. And then they came out with Guitar Hero. And then, like the hours that I put into Guitar Hero, I'm like, I could do this, And so, man, my mom and I played a lot of Guitar Hero growing up. And, eventually that just pushed me to be a musician I am. And, going and seeing a lot of my friends, play like in their garage bands growing up. And I'm like, man, like, and not seeing a lot of girls do it. I'll tell you what. Yeah. So just really just, pushing that, like, if he can do it, then I can do it. You know what I mean? There's no reason, so I'm just, really just trying to push that bar, especially just, as a woman, just being like, you know what? I can do this. I can do this in a man's world.
No, that absolutely makes sense because that's something that I was thinking about was that, I wouldn't say you're an anomaly within the metal scene, but you're definitely not the regular,
I like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, that's and that is honestly a compliment because when you listen to your music, your voice is just so energetic and like I kind of jokingly called you a metal diva, but I mean,
I love that.
But at the same time, no, it's like your voice is you know how to belt out a song, and then you can follow that up with that gargantuan growl.
Thank you, Josh.
That I think really is, and then you just right back into, it's seamless.
Thank you.
I couldn't do that. My throat would just be bleeding.
Oh, there's some days it is, but
But how did you develop that? What did you take voice lessons? I mean, where does one learn to? I wouldn't say scream like that, but I mean, again, you have a really well built up voice.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Well, I have to give a lot of credit to my, first car, the Ford Taurus. I didn't take any vocal lessons, but man, I would get in that Ford Taurus and I'd shut those doors and go for, my Rickers pop down the road and I would just scream to some good old Chiodos and Pierce the Veil and, good old emo bands growing up. And it would just, you fake it till you make it. And I just kept going and just kept like trying to find that tone that I liked. And eventually, that car listened to me scream more than anybody. And my poor father, sometimes I'd shut my room and my dad would be like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I'm okay, Dad."
As a father of 4 girls, I probably would be, slightly questioning, if I was hearing my daughter scream like that, I'd be like, we all right?
Stop my toe, Dad. We're good.
Yeah. I was about to fake it, and I was not. No.
It's never too late, Josh.
No,
it's never too late.
I think my time has passed.
No. Never.
Well, it's kind of when I was back in high school, so allow me to date myself a bit. I'd be listening to Aerosmith. Nice. And so, Steven Tyler, this is back during the time of Get a Grip and Nine Lives. So this was 90s Aerosmith.
Yes.
The last time Aerosmith was really Aerosmith.
Yep.
And I remember like hanging out with my friends, and I'd be the one who would be singing along to this stuff. And then whenever Steven Tyler would get into one of those like, I can't do it anymore. I honestly can't. I've tried, and I was like, no, I can't. But when he would try to do those, his little screams.
Oh, yeah.
Which were very Steven Tyler-ish.
Yeah,
they
those
weren't
hair metal screams. Yeah.
Yeah. And
hair
I was like,
screams.
I could do it.
Yeah.
I could do a pretty decent Steven Tyler impression.
Yes.
Back in the day. I can't do that anymore. I've tried. Sometimes I'll throw on Aerosmith's greatest hits or even big ones, and I'll just be like, because I love some of those old Aerosmith tunes.
Me too.
They're just fun. I mean, there's not a lot of buoyant rock, and that's what I would call it. It's just truly buoyant. Like they're talking about sex and drugs and everything else, but I mean they're having a lot of fun doing it.
I feel you. Molly Crew, David Lee Roth, I love those guys.
Yeah, no, I mean, they knew how to, which is funny because, growing up, whenever I think of metal, I do think of like the Metallicas of the world, but hair metal was always just rock and roll to me.
Yeah, I feel you.
It's
hard for me sometimes to like, because I mean, like, especially like just genres of music is just ever changing.
Yeah, it is.
You got like grunge metal, you got grunge black metal, you got black metal, you got all this. I'm just like, am I just chick metal? Like, I don't know. I'm like, I'll take it. Diva metal. Like, I feel a hashtag in there. But
hashtag diva metal.
Yeah.
I dig it.
I like that.
Yeah.
I feel a new shirt coming on.
You should totally.
Thank you, Josh.
You're welcome. Oh, you're welcome. I'm happy to supply something to that. Check out, Maciann live. She'll be having the diva metal shirt.
That's right.
Yeah.
I love it.
No, so you kind of grew up on your dad's, love of kind of like that metal era. And is that like, once you got that guitar, is that where you knew you wanted to go?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I remember buying my first guitar in Muncie at Sight and Sound, and that thing was like an eggshell white. I remember picking it up, and the first song I ever learned was Cocaine by Eric Clapton. It was the first song. And man, there was something about like when I got my first little guitar amp, I think it was like, I can't even remember. I think it was like a crate. And I remember like, oh, no, Dad, it sounds really good when it's at 11. It's really good. And he's like, no, it can still sound good when it's on 2. I was like, no, Dad, but the tone. Oh, and just like learning my first power chord. And when I learned that first power chord, I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's perfect. And like, they listened to that song. My neighbors, my poor neighbors, like, oh, man, they had to listen to that song so many times. But that was it. As soon as I played that first power chord on that little Fender Squire, I was like, this is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And
that is so cool. That is so cool. I mean, and to be able to just to know that at, I presume, was a fairly young age.
Mm-hmm.
And to be like, okay, this is where I'm going. But what led you into nursing then?
So, my family is musical, but I grew up in a medical family. So my dad is actually an ER doctor.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, my sister's a nurse, and, my stepmom, she's a nurse, ICU nurse. So I grew up into that. But like there's one thing that I knew that I didn't know was how to like market myself and how to financially support myself in music. And I'm still learning that.
Yeah.
But I did know that, like I'm very passionate about like, helping people, and especially grew passionate in the medical field, watching my dad. And so I decided to become a nurse because guitars are expensive.
You are not kidding.
You're not
Oh my
kidding.
gosh. So you chose wisely and chose a field that can support the habit.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I love helping people, but man, it really helps.
so I want to take a jog back if we can.
Yeah.
So I heard you say, before we started the show, you graduated from Ball State
Yes.
in 2016.
2016.
If I recall correctly, you put out your first EP in 2012?
Well, that is a funny, well, yes, the EP, we actually wrote that and recorded it in 2012.
Okay.
Yes, but we actually never released it until we got back together as a band and rebranded as Maciann.
So when did that happen?
So that happened probably about 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so this whole Maciann brand is pretty new.
Okay.
Yeah, we used to be a group called For This We Exist.
Oh,
and then
okay.
we kind of branched off, with college, and I played in a funk rock band for a while, and then we got back together and we're like, hey, let's get to it. And so we just kind of left off where we were.
So it's the same people from
Same people.
That is so
Yep.
cool.
My homies. I couldn't do any of this without them. They are my best buds. We got Eric Colindrelli on the drums. We got Brandon Stogner. He's our producer and our bass player. And we have Caleb Pyle on guitar. Like, they are my ride or die.
That is awesome.
Yep.
You don't hear about that, too often, especially to take that kind of break
Yep.
and to come back and just kind of pick up where you left
Yeah.
off and really pursue the making of music. Because because the one thing I wanted to ask you was, like, you had the EP come out, but then you've just been dropping singles.
Yep.
Which, for me as an album head, this whole thing drives me nuts. That's okay. As a fellow musician, I totally get it.
Yeah. I feel you.
But as a music connoisseur, it just drives me bonkers.
Yep.
Because and especially the way that you have to download music. So I get Apple Music.
Yep.
And the thing that I hate about Apple Music is that when you have your most recents, like the things that you've most recently downloaded, it only gives you like the last maybe 20, 30 options.
Yeah.
And it's annoying because it's like, well, if they're filled up with singles,
Yeah.
like, how am I going to know what I downloaded
Yeah.
before? And because that's, again, as a lover of music, I'm constantly, and especially now the local scene, I'm constantly trying to get stuff, but I'm constantly seeing singles. I'm like, I don't do it.
Yeah.
I just go to the page and I listen to
I
it.
think it's time to, look at Spotify. Come on, Josh.
So no, my daughter uses Spotify.
Yeah.
And I'm trapped in an ecosystem.
Yeah. I feel ya.
And so it's like if I leave that,
Well, we'll have an album for you here eventually. We'll get there.
exciting.
We'll get there. Maybe it'll be like diva metal.
Hey,
That's what we'll call it.
That's it. Not only is it a shirt, it's an album title.
Oh, there we
it's
go.
a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
Oh my goodness, I'm loving all of
It's
this.
my life.
Reminds me of a conversation that I went to an Indians game when I was really young, and I was with my dad or with my grandpa, and at some point I proclaimed as a 5-year-old that baseball was my life.
Heck
And I
yeah.
feel like that it's music, it's our life. You got to live it.
Yep.
You gotta
I feel
live
you.
it.
Man, that makes me want a hot dog real bad. Oh, anyway.
Go to the ballpark, man. That's the best place to get them.
I know it.
Yeah. So you have a single coming out on Friday, September 15th.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the name of it is
Grow Up or Get Out.
Grow Up or Get Out. Now, you were saying before we started the show that you have a video for that too.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So what is that like? What's the story behind the video?
So the story behind the Grow Up or Get Out track that we're going to be releasing on September the 15th, it's kind of just diving into the the hardships and the push, that we battle with ourselves, like we had talked about, like really just pushing through, like the motivation of every day, to pour into your creative outlet while also, doing your day-to-day job, because sometimes you're just so wore out from like everyday stuff, everyday adulting, that it's hard to just pour into. Sometimes you got to push yourself through the motions of your creative outlet. So, not only is this song about like just pushing through the hardships of a job, but it's about like kind of just finding that balance, like being a nurse and being a musician, and how those the alter ego can just really just like try and clash sometime, but they can actually complement each other, and it can, finding the balance, so it's really like my nurse self battling, the musician self, and but really they're supporting each other.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, that's so cool. And you were saying beforehand, I don't want to give it away. When the video, okay.
Ahead.
But how, you just kind of transform from the nurse into the musician during the course of the video. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
It's fun. It's a lot of leather. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Love it. Well, let's talk real quick about Grow Up or Get Out. Well, the acoustic version that you're about to play for us.
Yeah.
So what did it, we put you on the spot there, because metalheads trying to bring in, the acoustic guitar. Not that doesn't happen. Obviously, it obviously does happen, but it's like, the unplugged version. What was it like preparing for something like that?
Honestly, it wasn't too difficult, because I have just one of the most talented best friends in the whole world, Brandon Stogner. And when we wrote these songs, we sit down, with acoustic guitar. And
oh, really?
That's how these songs start. He's, like he'll show me a riff, and then I'll give him a melody, and it just comes together, and so, having that backbone and that like starting with the acoustic and then changing it over to metal, it makes it easier to come back to that. So
that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
You're the second metal guest who has mentioned how they start writing on the acoustic first. And I find that fascinating, because I wouldn't normally think of like the acoustic guitar as a jumping off point for some of these monster riffs, but it seems to have worked out pretty well for both of you guys.
Yeah, it's been such a blessing. I have such talented musicians with best friends, and that's how we started. So it's been fun.
So what is the writing process? And I guess specifically for this song, what was the writing process like for you? As you were putting it together, like, are you constantly collaborating? Does the music come first? Do the lyrics
usually comes first?
Okay.
Actually, sometimes we'll have like a bank of like ideas and riffs and things that and sometimes we'll put them together like a never-ending puzzle piece, or we'll replace one with another. And then once we have that foundation musically, especially with the guitars, then we just, we find that with the vocals, and eventually just comes together like a puzzle piece.
Before we check out this fantastic tune, fantastic tunes, I should say, I want to talk real quick about our sponsor for this segment, and that is Indianapolis Independent Entertainment. An IIE LLC aims to help local DIY artists, freelancers, and businesses within Indianapolis by establishing a network of creatives who can connect with each other to generate more paying creative opportunities. Their goal is to eliminate some of the intimidating barriers within the entertainment industry and expand the local art and music scenes in Indianapolis. Interested individuals can learn more about IIE by visiting their website, indyent.com. That's INDYINDIEENT.com, and fill out a free application to discuss how you and IIE can redefine making it together. We will be right back. Get ready to rock acoustically. We'll be right back.
Hit the nerve
what I do observe. Storm you conquer, try and twist my words. You think you know, I think you know me. Try and twist my arm, I don't cave easily. Go up and get down. Go up and get down. Get out of my way, get out of my way. Get out of my way, get out of my way. Go up and get down. Go up and get down. Get out of my way, get out of my way. Get out of my way, get out of my way. Can't help it, I feel myself. Oh, 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 can't help it, I feel myself. Oh, oh, can't help it, I feel myself. Oh, 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 can't help it, I feel myself. Oh, oh, obscure, insecure. Take it or leave it, lay it flat on the floor. Don't walk away, a number, a name. Afraid you're gonna miss to wait another day. Go up and get down. Go up and get down. Get out of my way, get out of my way. Get out of my way, get out of my way. Go up and get down. Go up and get down. Get out of my way, get out of my way. Get out of my way, get out of my way. Can't help it, I feel myself. Oh, 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 can't help it, I feel myself. Oh, oh, I can't help it, I feel myself. Oh, 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 I can't help it, I feel myself. Oh, oh. These lines are spread so thin, but you refuse to fall for those cheap tricks. Keep track the path you make before you choose to fall for those cheap mistakes. Don't fall for the dark prints or hints. Better think before you choose to. You say as you meant, no, you should have known. How you paid, oh, 1,000 strings I split, puppet master, time well spent. I cut my strings, I'll be my own me. Classic case reaction, ball played to my distraction. No side of rhyme and reason, have faith committing treason. I'll pay for my mistakes, but some things you know you cannot deny. I cut my strings, I'll be my own me. Cut my strings. Hold your pen, oh, 1,000 strings I split, puppet master, time well spent. I cut my strings, I'll be my own life. Hold your pen, oh, 1,000 strings I split, puppet master, time well spent. I cut my strings, I'll be my own me. Cool.
And this segment was brought to you by the Engine Room Recording Company, located at Broad Ripple Village, just north of downtown Indianapolis, and they specialize in making your projects go. Podcasters, bands, audiobookers, rappers, singers, songwriters, and everyone in between, the Engine Room Recording Company has the experience, the engineers, the equipment, and the environment to fuel your projects. Check out Broad Ripple's recording studio by visiting for more information on their services, artists they've recorded, and gear they have at engineroomrecordingcompany.com. And be sure to check out their Instagram page by searching up at Engine Room Recording Co. And welcome back. Are your minds just not blown? Seriously. Oh my gosh. So we got to hear your brand new single, Acoustic. Rad. Rockin'.
Thank you.
Now we also got to hear a song that you released earlier this year. Earlier last year, wasn't it? Last year, called Oh Geppetto. Tell us a little bit about that song. What's the meaning behind it? Like, where did Oh Geppetto come from?
Heck yeah. So Oh Geppetto, we wrote that actually years ago.
Oh, really?
Years ago. Mm-hmm. Yep. So Oh Geppetto kind of just circles around like the more of the world putting, pressure on ourselves to like just, fit a certain brand, a certain lifestyle, a certain expectation, especially, me as a woman, like there's, things I need to wear, things I need to look like. And just, there's just so much clutter into expectations of just, and not just in music, but just in, life in general. So the song just kind of just talks about cutting your strings from the world and just being your own you, just less pressure from everything else and just being authentically you.
Yeah. It seems as if, and maybe I'm picking up on a theme here, but a theme of the authentic self in your music and in your lyrics. And it seems that is something that is incredibly important to you.
Oh, yes. I'm actually a very spiritual person. I'm a Christian, and a lot of, that just like, it doesn't matter, where you find your peace is just, I am trying my best, to find where my peace comes from. And, I find that with my spiritual belief. And I just encourage people, just to find that, because life is just all about like figuring it out, and just being the best person that you can be. And so that's what I'm really trying to encourage people to do.
Now, that's tremendous answer.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I want to talk, you had mentioned a little bit before, like off air, some of the other bands that you've been in. So let's talk about real quick.
Yeah.
About what made Maciann today.
Yeah.
Like the experiences that you had in the bands that you were in.
For sure.
And you've already talked about how, you are with the same group of people that you were when you first started.
Yeah. Which
is awesome.
I know. I'm so blessed.
But you've had some dalliances, shall we say,
for sure.
elsewhere. Musical dalliances. Let's talk about that a bit. Tell me about that. Tell me about Maciann's past here musically.
Let's do it. Let's talk about my previous relationships.
Yes.
Let's
now the podcast's getting juicy.
Juicy, spicy a little bit. Here we go. So, I would say like before college, I had those garage bands, those metal, like, just startups, with progressive rock. And then when I went into college, we kind of branched out, and I, met some cool group of, guys, and we had like this psychedelic rock band.
No way.
Oh yeah. It was called Challenger Deep. And I remember doing my first CD in the basement of my homie's, place. And it was just, oh my gosh, it was so much fun playing my first shows ever. And, that eventually, turned into like going and getting a taste of metal again, going back to my roots, and so just, doing For This We Exist, which is where, Maciann like started. And then eventually, life happens and you spiral in different directions. And then I joined this awesome group that's still around, and they're called the Indigos. It's a funk rock band here in Indianapolis.
That is so cool.
Oh my gosh, they're so fun.
Love some funk rock.
Oh yeah, they're so fun. Yeah, they're still kicking, still doing it. Still great friends of mine. And so I was with them for probably about like 5 or 6 years, and then I had to go back to my roots, man. It's just like one of those like, ex-girlfriends you just got to go back to, you know what I'm saying? Shoot. So, went back, and, I learned so much from, not just them, but I played in a lot of event groups. One of them, like an all-girl country band, the Indianis, they're still around here. They're awesome. And then I played for a group called Magnolia Soul, and I would say that I learned so much about lead guitar being in these groups, because a lot of the reasons why I was joining a lot of these groups, because I wanted to get good really quick. I was playing a lot of rhythm guitar, but I really wanted to just hone in on being a lead guitar player. And
I
so,
gotta say that your chops are pretty amazing.
thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. So I learned a lot of cover songs, and not just in rock, but I learned, a lot of pop and a lot of country and a lot of, just appreciated all genres of music. And which eventually, where I'm at right now, I'd say my primary focus is the Maciann for my original content, but I also play for an event group with my mother.
That is so cool.
I do. It's so fun. We're called Like Mother, Like Daughter, and we play everything from Alice in Chains to, Bee Gees to Miley Cyrus. Like, we play it all, and we make it a little bit of our own too. My mom loves, like the pop music, and I love, rock, and we have a slaying, drummer, Rocky Rodriguez, and so that's something that, I'm doing now that's made me who I am today with a lot of my music.
So I have to ask, when you guys are doing, AIC covers, who sings the Lane part and who sings the Jerry Cantrell part?
Oh, we harmonize and we just do it all. We mix it up. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
No, because they had the AIC harmonies were something to behold. They were different, They just hit different.
Oh yeah.
And they were so good because they were so different. I don't know. There was something about that Lane and Jerry had together that was pure grunge magic.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we do a lot, we do a lot of grunge. We have a great time.
You do? What else do you do?
Oh,
Again,
man.
I'm a child of the 90s.
Oh yeah.
So I love me some grunge. The grunge era was prime high school for me.
Yeah.
And, Kurt Cobain sadly passed away my sophomore year in high school, junior.
We are talking about some Nirvana, yeah.
But you do some Nirvana?
We're talking about some Nirvana.
Oh, which ones are you thinking about doing?
You'll have to come to a show and find out, Josh.
I love it. Oh, a consummate artist here. So how did you get to be in a band with your mom?
Well,
how does that happen?
Guitar Hero. I say it all the time, but it's true. We grew up, not playing a lot of music together, but I appreciated her playing music a lot. We go to her shows, and she played all over Indiana with a group, a Christian group called Walking in Faith, and they were like a quartet with just awesome. They were just so good, and so I grew up watching her, and then eventually, when I moved back to Muncie about like 3 years ago, my sister, my mom, and I, we played a lot of Guitar Hero, and we just, we just loved the set, so that we would just rock on, and eventually we were just like, we can play this, like we can do this. And my mom, you put something in front of her, I wish I could do this like her, but she put any sheet music in front of her, and she's played it like she's played it for years.
Those
she's
people,
one of those. She's like
one of them.
She's a wizard. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And so we'll just I mostly like play a lot by ear, you give me like 2 minutes on something and I can, finagle the riff. And so we're just jamming and learning like just a lot of songs together. We're like, let's just do this. And so, I remember, some of the first open mics that we do together. And then, our first gig we ever played was a wedding at an American Legion. It was it was fun. It was so fun. These two girls got married. We had the funnest time. It was great. Yeah. And we played, everything from Alice in Chains to Miley Cyrus and all this stuff.
At a wedding?
Yeah, we did. We rocked at Billy Idol. Like, we were doing it all.
Well, I mean, seriously, you got to be playing White Wedding at a wedding.
Oh, yeah. We need to learn that one.
You don't know White Wedding?
No, I know the song.
Well, I know you know that. I mean, clearly, if you're bringing up Billy Idol, I know you know White Wedding. Know of this song.
Oh, yeah.
But then what Billy Idol songs are you playing at a wedding?
Rebel Yell.
Oh,
I love it.
That's a great one.
It's so good. I love it.
That's a good one. Yeah. Gosh. So I want to jump back a bit. We were talking in a bit of our intermission, shall we say. And I'm going to lavish more praise on you, if you don't mind. Because I was listening to your music on the way to the podcast recording. And it occurred to me that it was like, I'm feeling like some if this wasn't metal, this is Taylor Swift kind of stuff, you know. It's like
love ya.
it's a, and I don't mean this, you know, I don't mean to offend, but I was like,
That's
you know,
a compliment. I'll take it.
Okay, great.
Metal Taylor Swift.
Yes, and I was like, she's the metal Taylor Swift.
I love that.
And then, you know, a track from Versus Me comes on, and it says, "Are you ready?" Almost in the same way that Taylor says it on the Reputation album.
I love it.
And I was like, that's it. Okay, that's it. Yes.
I'll never listen to it the same.
No, I won't. I won't. It's like, and I guess it's like, I'm having the Taylor Swift of metal on my show.
Taylor Swift.
There's another shirt for you.
Hashtag give it to me.
Yes. Hashtag Taylor Swift of metal. Hashtag Diva metal.
I love it.
Giving you so many
I'm feeling
ideas.
like a whole brand here. I'm ready.
Yes. But at the same time, maybe I think it was because of your brilliant social media strategy.
Thank you.
You have done a reel covering Taylor Swift.
I did. Yeah, we're really pushing the TikTok lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So remind me again what the Taylor Swift song was, because honestly, it was a metal version of it.
Yeah,
and
look what you made me do.
Yes.
Yeah.
From Reputation.
Yeah.
That is the perfect choice.
Thank you.
Because okay. I'm not I would not call myself a huge Taylor Swift fan.
That's
I do
okay.
love the album Folklore, and I will probably say that I have a like, you know, when people ask you like what's the one album that you're a fan of but you'd be ashamed to say? Like oh gosh, am I going to out myself here I'm a bit of a Katy Perry fan.
Oh, I love Katy Perry.
Okay.
Heck yeah.
But I also I really do like the Reputation album.
Yeah.
No, it's a good album from good old Taylor.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the one thing. Like if you've seen it on Twitter, some occasionally it'll pop up. You know, name one album that you know.
You just want to blame it on your daughter, but no.
No, I can't even blame Katy Perry on my daughter. Katy Perry was all me.
I love Katy Perry.
It was like, you know, I even successfully incorporated her song Roar into a work video.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
For a state agency that shall remain nameless, even. It didn't go public. But it was, you know, I scripted it out and I was like, yeah, the whole time I'm writing, I'm like, I'm hearing Roar with this.
Heck yeah. I might have to do a metal version of that.
Oh.
I'm feeling it. You're just feeding it to
I
me,
am
Josh.
I am. This might be one of the most beneficial interviews you've done.
Know, for real. I should have freaking notebook.
You'll be able to go watch it again.
That's right.
You know, be like, oh, what was it that he said? Oh, just go to the tape.
Exactly.
Go to Spotify. Go to Spotify. Listen to it there.
Yes.
So, gosh, I feel like there's just so much that I want to ask that I can't even think of what it is. You know, it just because I want to hear more about you being in a funk band.
Oh yeah.
Yes, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. It was lots of purple. We wore lots of purple, lots of horns. It was great.
Did you wear big hats?
No
big
there
hats?
was some velvet though, or like, oh yeah, there was some velvet. Yeah.
Boas?
No
boas?
I would headbang that shit right off, Josh. Come
Okay,
on.
no, you would. You would. Not gonna lie. But I mean, there's a lot of purple. I'm just, you know.
Oh yeah.
I
feel like I brought a lot of the rock to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, you know, eventually when you just get a bunch of creatives together, you just find what that sound is. And, you know, it was ever changing and it still is ever changing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But
were,
yeah, it was
were
fun.
you singing or playing guitar?
Both.
Or both?
Uh-huh.
Really?
Both. Yeah.
So you can play funk guitar as well?
Oh, I like to think so. I like to think so. Give me a little bit of tequila, Josh.
Okay,
Here we go,
a little
funky.
All right. No, that's pretty wild, though. I mean, to play metal and funk?
Mm-hmm.
Man, you really know how to rock that.
Funky metal band.
Yeah, that's your next step.
That's what they were. Yeah.
Can you imagine funk metal?
Oh, I can.
Okay.
I lived it. Something like, Macy, stop screaming.
No.
I'm sorry. Play that funky music.
I love it. Okay. So you have a single coming out Friday. Get Up or Get Out?
Grow up.
Grow up.
Grow up, Josh.
Grow up and get out.
Grow up or get out.
Or get out. Ah,
That's okay.
damn
Pop
it.
quiz later.
Thank you. Yes. Grow up or get out. And get out. Grow up.
Grow up or get out.
Grow up or get out. There we go.
You're good.
September 15th.
Yes.
Download it. Add it to
Mhm.
your Spotify playlists.
Watch
it all.
that. Watch that music video.
Are you going to release a music video the same day?
the same day.
It is going to be Overload.
I hope so.
That's going to be awesome. Maciann Overload, September 15th. Put it on your calendars. Macy, is there anything that we may have missed that we want to get out there that you feel like you want people to know about you or about your music or any gigs coming up where people
Ooh.
can't see you? That's probably most important here. Let's talk about the gigs.
Yeah, we have, we post all of our gigs on social media.
Okay.
Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, TikTok. We're releasing a new video every week on TikTok, new covers. If you have, any, thing that you want to hear a cool metal version of, please send us a message.
Roar.
Roar. Yes. But yeah, we just follow us on that Facebook and you'll see all of our up and coming shows.
Awesome.
So yeah.
That is fantastic. Maciann, thank you for being
Thank
on the
you,
show
Josh.
this week.
Thank you so much.
You have been a blast as a guest.
Thank
You were
you.
so much fun. Guys, Maciann, please check out her music. She knows how to rock. Literally. Literally. And follow her on all the socials. You won't be disappointed. I kid you not. She's constantly updating and it's all entertaining.
Thank you.
So give it up for Maciann. And we'll be back next week. Tune in. If I could remember who it was going to be, I'd tell you. But I know I only bring on good people onto this show.
Voices of Indy.
Voices of Indy is where it's at. Tune in next time. What was that? Tune in next time. There we go. For another edition of Voices of Indy. We'll see you again. See you again next week. Yeah. Later.